Revenge films.
My name is Emily Matthews. I'm just your average housewife that you might find anywhere. 2 months ago, I gave birth to our very first baby, and my husband, Jonathan, and I were thrilled. Jonathan was working really hard at his job, and he was also well liked by the other employees in his company. When the baby was born, a lot of people came over to visit us and congratulate us, bringing us many gifts and kind words.
Mr. Matthews, this is to congratulate you, your wife, for the birth of your baby. We hope that you'll use it for your sweet little girl.
From me? I got you some cute baby clothes. Hope you guys like them. Wow, thank you so much. We'll be sure to use these.
Mrs. Matthews, I'm sure it wasn't easy, but congratulations on giving birth to such a beautiful baby girl.
Thank you. I have to say it was really painful, but the moment I gave birth to her, all of that pain went flying out the window, and I completely forgot about it.
Mr. Matthews, you better make sure that you help out with the baby and take care of your wife, okay? Otherwise, your amazing wife is going to leave you.
Seriously, raising a child is something that should be done as a couple. It's not just the mother.
I know. But there must be something wrong with any father who wouldn't take care of their wife and baby, especially when they're this cute.
My husband and I were on cloud 9, and we were having this joyful conversation. That is, until that day. On that day, my husband had gone to the office as usual, and I was at home alone, changing my daughter's diapers. But then, suddenly, I received a phone call, and that phone call was none other than the police. They informed me that my husband had assaulted and raped a woman, and that he had been arrested and was currently at the police station. When I heard those words from the police, my mind went completely blank, because there's no way that my husband would do such a thing. Even if he was saving somebody, he would never do anything to hurt somebody. I knew that this must be some kind of mistake. However, no matter how many times I asked the police to give me more details, the only thing they would tell me was that my husband was arrested. I couldn't wrap my head around what was going on when they hung up. Not long after that, this time, I received a phone call from my husband's company. According to his colleagues from work, they said that at the time of the supposed incident, it was their lunch break, so they had gone to the nearest convenience store together as a group. They reassured me that there was an alibi, and they were the witnesses, so everything would be fine. When I heard those words, I was so relieved, and I thought that surely my husband would come home straight away. Jonathan's colleagues told me that they would go to the police station and explain that to them, so I stayed at home with my baby daughter, waiting for my husband to return. However, no matter how many hours passed, my husband didn't come home. And eventually, I received a phone call that he was going to be taken to jail. I panicked, and while carrying my newborn baby, I went to the police station, and I tried to prove my husband's innocence to the police officers. This must be some kind of mistake. There is absolutely no reason my husband would do such a thing. And more than anything, there are people who are witnesses to his alibi, so why is my husband being treated like a criminal when he is innocent? But that didn't change anything. After that, the trial started, and my husband was placed in a clearly disadvantaged situation. Of course, my husband insisted on his innocence until the very end, and his story was consistent every single time. But unfortunately, the court didn't believe him. In the end, the court declared him guilty, and my husband was sentenced to prison. The moment I saw my husband, who had clearly been sleep deprived and was now being sentenced for something he didn't do, I wasn't even able to support my body. I fell to the floor on the spot and started sobbing. Once my husband was sent to prison, it meant that I was going to have to take care of my daughter all by myself. Luckily, we had been saving for years, so I had enough in the bank account to survive. And thanks to his company giving us special assistance and depositing a portion of my husband's salary into his account, I was able to make ends meet. However, news got out about the incident, and the neighbors shunned me. I could hear them saying outside of my house,
Did you hear that the husband of that family assaulted a woman?
I can't believe it. He's the enemy of all women. I want his wife to leave this town too. I can't believe she can just live there like nothing happened, and her husband didn't assault a woman.
Every day, I was forced to be showered by words like that. I couldn't understand why this was happening, and anytime I was by myself, I cried. But even still, I went to go visit my husband in prison, and I tried to maintain a smile on my face. But then, one day when I went to visit him, my husband said he wanted to get a divorce.
Let's split up. I can imagine the way that society must be treating you. It's what's best for you. And it's what's best for our daughter, too.
No, I'm not going to do that. You're innocent, aren't you? You didn't do it, did you?
That's true. But there's nothing I can do from here. At this rate, I'm worried about you and the effect that this is having on you.
But I'm never going to give up. If you say that you didn't do it, then I'm going to believe you until the very end. Our baby girl is still little, but no matter what it takes, I'm going to prove that you were innocent. When I said that, on the other side of the thick window, my husband started crying. Even though I tried to remain positive when I spoke to him, in reality, I felt like there was nothing I could do in this situation, and I also didn't have money either. I felt like my hands were tied, and I was devastated and hopeless, not knowing how I could possibly save my husband. But then at that moment, my husband's colleagues and even the CEO suddenly showed up at my house, and I was shocked. The only thing that I could offer them was tea, but instead they offered me a single business card.
This person has agreed to be Mr. Matthews' lawyer. We're going to fight this together.
What? Lawyer? But I don't have that kind of money right now.
You don't need to worry about that. We all chipped in and are covering that cost. We know for a fact that Mr. Matthews was with us that day, so this is ridiculous. We have to prove his innocence.
As it turns out, my husband's colleagues, bosses, and even the CEO of his company all gathered money together, and they hired a certain lawyer to fight my husband's case. Not only that, but the lawyer was a woman. Normally, I would think that a woman would take the side of a female victim, but when she heard the situation, apparently she was happy to take the case. Thank you. Thank you very much. How can I possibly thank you? Tears were streaming down my face as I thanked everybody and bowed down to them. From there, things got moving. I met with that lawyer and I introduced her to my husband as well. My husband was on the verge of giving up, but this time, I saw the life come back into his eyes.
Thank you very much.
Of course, I'm going to do my best. So let's win back your innocence and get you out of there.
My husband and I both bowed to her. The lawyer got straight to work, and she did some research into the woman who claimed to be the victim, named Karen. As it turns out, the first thing we found out was that the victim was a married woman. However, upon further investigation, we received some information from an acquaintance of the victim. According to her, right before the woman got married, she had told her friend that her affair was about to be discovered. However, a few days ago, she was boldly saying that she took care of the situation and everything was going to be fine. And then, the woman's acquaintance said that that was right around the time that my husband was arrested for this supposed assault. The lawyer did deeper research into it, and as a result, she was able to find out who the victim was having an affair with, and managed to track down his address as well. She went to go and question him herself. When she confronted the man, he admitted to having an affair with Karen, but that things ended when Karen's fiancé was about to catch them in the act and find out. That's when Karen decided to lie, that she was assaulted and raped by a man that she didn't know, and she went to the police along with her fiancé. Not only that, but Karen actually ended up threatening the man that she was having an affair with.
You do know that if my fiancé finds out about this, then you're also going to get sued by him. If you don't want to pay that kind of money, then you better keep your mouth shut.
And she had threatened him not to say anything. However, the man said that he felt guilty this entire time, that an innocent man was put behind bars. And that's why he told the lawyer everything and was honest about it. The man also promised that he would be a witness in court for the trial. And a couple of days later, I met him at the lawyer's office. When he saw me, he was crying as he got down on his knees to apologize.
I'm so sorry. I didn't think that he was going to be sent to prison. I'm really so sorry.
I was thankful that he was going to be a witness, but to be honest, I couldn't get myself to forgive this man from the bottom of my heart. After that, with the evidence in hand, the lawyer and I once again went to court. When that man stood at the witness desk, the woman that was the victim turned completely pale.
What on earth are you doing here? Hurry up and get out of here. You better not say anything. Keep your mouth shut.
She was panicking and trying to stop him, but the police held her down immediately, and the man exposed the entire truth. The victim, Karen, started to throw a tantrum.
Are you kidding me? How dare you destroy my happiness like this? All men have ulterior motives and want to cheat anyway. All I did was a little bit of the same. I didn't do anything wrong.
She started to cause a commotion in court. After that, of course, my husband's innocence was proved. We won the case in court, and instead the woman was the one that was arrested. Not only that, but it also became clear that the detectives and police who were in charge of my husband's case didn't do a thorough investigation, and they were also punished. The moment that the court declared my husband not guilty, his knees gave out and he crumbled on the spot. My husband was sobbing out of relief and happiness. As for the woman that claimed to be the victim, based off of her words and actions in court, as well as what she did to my husband, the court declared that she had criminal intent and that she didn't show any guilt, and so she was instead sentenced to prison. Of course, the fiancé who had become her husband by now divorced her, and he also sued her for settlement fee. As for the settlement fee towards us, the female lawyer took care of all of that for us, and we were able to win quite the high amount of money in court. When everything was over, and the day that my husband was going to be released from jail, his colleagues and I all went to pick him up. When my husband walked out,
Mr. Matthews, welcome home.
And everybody was thrilled to see him. When my husband saw that, he covered his face with his hands and he was crying. Everybody gathered around my husband, and we all celebrated his release and innocence. Welcome home, honey. When I said that, my husband's face was a mess of tears.
Thank you. Thank you for believing in me until the very end. Thank you.
And he bowed his head down to me, and everybody else over and over again. After that, my husband went back to working at the same company. The incident this time made it onto the news, and my husband's innocence was proven to the rest of society. But even still, we decided that it wouldn't feel great to continue living in the same house. And so his company prepared company housing nearby his office for us. When my husband was arrested for rape, I really thought that my world was ending. And plus, there's no way that I would have been able to prove his innocence by myself. Because my husband was always working hard and treasured his colleagues, that's how we were able to get this result. And every day, I'm thankful. I'm going to treasure this husband of mine for the rest of my life.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.